back to Everyday Struggle. I am Nadeska here with Akademiks and Wayno. So right before we started rolling, Akademiks needed 5 minutes to clean up his studio and hide all of the solo cups. So I've been trying to figure out why a man living in $1 million mansion can't drink out of real glasses. But apparently, someone on our production team just told us that Europeans take solo cups back to Europe from America as souvenirs. So I guess you're onto something, Akademiks.
Nadeska, I don't know what you're talking about, $1 million mansions. Listen, this is the Airbnb. I'm just happy to be here for another day. And Wayno's drinking out of a solo red cup right now. Like, why are we not talking about him? Where's Wayno? Where's Wayno fine china at?
You want to know why we have like the solo cups here? Because my kids, like, they'll use all of the damn cups up in the house, and then you'll have a ton of dishes. That's why.
You don't have any children. I don't understand. What are you just drinking about?
The goddamn child, and I'm tired of waiting on you every day, Akademiks. Get on my nerves. I'm just letting you know that.
Nobody's trying to do dishes. Like, this is general consensus.
There's a dishwasher for that. But anyway, 50 Cent tweeted last night that because of Biden's proposed tax plan, he is voting for Trump. Now, just to be clear, if you make $400,000 or less, your taxes are not going to be raised. So I think most people are going to be good, right? But I honestly feel like this is how Akademiks secretly feels, and he's just not admitting it on the show. Tell me I'm wrong.
What are you talking about, Nadeska?
Are you voting for Trump?
She said everything she was talking about. What you mean?
Okay, so are we talking about... So 50 Cent, his tweet. I would like Wayno to go. You know, Wayno just got...
He feels the same.
No, pass this over to me.
Wayno just got a record on a Billboard Hot 100. Like, that's like $500,000 he just got. So he's in a different tax bracket. So I'm just saying... How about Wayno talk about the newly tax bracket he probably already been in there. How about he talk about 62% of his money going to the government and the possibility of that, and how does that affect his voting choices? Because again, go ahead.
I haven't gotten $500,000 for that, and it wouldn't be my first $500,000. Let's get that straight. But let me tell you this. I mean, that really doesn't affect too much of how I vote. Like I don't vote based on what monies I'm paying in taxes, because I have a great business management team, and we figure a lot of things out on taxes.
Got those deductions, huh?
Yeah, I get my deductions up, you know what I'm saying? So I pay a little bit less. But what I will say is, I think that a lot of people factor that type of shit in. You know what I mean? And I think when it comes to Trump, there's a lot of people who support him and always have. I mean, before Trump ran for president or became president, a lot of people loved his celebrity. A lot of rappers named songs after him, had him in rap videos, stood next to him, and I think that once he became a politician, a lot of them changed their minds. But I think a lot of people still got that love for Trump, and they're not gonna admit to how they vote based on their taxes. Charles Barkley used to say that all the time, that his mother used to say, that he needs to vote Democrat based on how he grew up and all that. He used to say, "Ma, I'm rich. Like, I'm voting based on what state I'm in. You know what I mean? How much I got to pay." I mean, a lot of people factor that in, but that doesn't really affect how I vote.
Well, the thing is, 50 Cent is definitely a much better businessman than Trump, right? That whole thing with The Apprentice, the producers have already revealed that it was all a sham. He's been losing money for years, that his office was a mess, that they had to stage everything. So clearly he's not good at business, but he is really good at ducking taxes. Just interesting that 50 decided to tweet that now, couple weeks before the election. Even if he felt that way, a lot of people aren't making that much money. So like, if you're not a multimillionaire, this does not apply to you. So vote accordingly.
I think you gotta worry. I mean, 50, like, that's the thing about 50. I never know when 50 is serious or sincere, but like, you never know with him. Like, that's the dangerous thing about 50 Cent. He'll be super upset and have the greatest smile on his face. So that's the tricky part about him. Go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest. 50 Cent's 100% serious. Hey, let's just be clear. First of all, when the thought of voting your interest, a lot of people who are wealthy, I always look at rappers. A lot of rappers are insincere. You know what I mean? They act like they're down with the struggle and with the movement, with the people. But a lot of these people, they're making millions of dollars. They're in different tax brackets. They have different issues that probably come to their, of course, if you're black, you're going to share social issues. But, you know what I mean? It's a mixed bag in terms of things you care about. It's not only, this ain't a social issue election. There's a lot of other things that people are going to consider. I actually give credit to 50 for actually saying something that I think a lot of rappers really think. If you think, I'll say too, I'm not voting for no motherfucker that's going to tax me 62%. I don't care who it is. It could be Jesus himself. You're not getting my vote. If I got to give 62% of my wealth to you, it is not going to happen. that is just again, but that's on one front. I think 50 tweeted that out of just a knee jerk reaction. If you did look into why it would be 62%, there's a lot of things that go into it. By the way, the tax brackets and also how taxing is done based on whatever administration is in office is really a complex thing. So I think 50 was trying to be funny, but I do think he does think that's a very serious thing, as should many people. You know what I mean? Again,
that's cool. I just think that he could probably kept it to himself right now, because the majority of people who probably are fans of him are not making the kind of money that he is. So if he feels that way, fine, but just keep it to yourself. No one needed to hear that at this moment. I'm sure all the other multimillionaires out there have already made up their minds and they're cool. They didn't need 50's like advice here, but.
And you got to factor in the people who don't really read and are only going to take that as face value as that is for everybody. Right. So you can you can sway a lot of decision making just by saying something like that.
Well, I think he was trying to sway people's opinion. I don't think he was just trying to just say that. I think he was trying to influence people to say, "Hey, listen."
But what people? That's the thing. I think that's the thing. A lot of people aren't gonna go research this, so everyone might think this applies to them, but it doesn't. 50's in the 1%.
I don't think he cared if it applied to people. He just don't want people to vote for the nigga that's gonna tax him. Yo, at the end of the day, I like how everybody act like, everybody's holistic and we're voting for the greater good. Niggas is voting for themselves and their household. You get me? Like, again, I'm an immigrant. I come from a different country. My mom had to marry a nigga just to get like her citizenship and shit like that. And truth be told, if that was the election I was going to be voting in, or I could vote in, that's number one priority. That's the main thing. I don't care what else is going on. That's the main thing. We just have to wake up. People are voting based on what's important to them at the time. And for 50 right now, it's not George Floyd and everything else going on. He care about his taxes. Like, we just have to accept it. He care about his taxes. That's what it is.
All right, let's talk about some music. So there's been a lot of speculation about what's been happening within the TDE camp. A lot of people, of course, want to hear from Kendrick Lamar. So I think actually last time we spoke about it, Act's big quote was, "Where there's smoke, there's fire," right? So we have two updates today. First, in an interview with Hip Hop DX, Reason, who just dropped his new project, New Beginnings, admitted that TDE is going through a weird time. He said he feels like he might actually be the glue holding the label together right now. This is a quote from him. He says, "Everybody knows we're the best team in the league, but with the mix of COVID, Dave Free leaving, Dot not dropping because of family things, all of that put us back a little." He said, to give some foreshadowing to it, "I feel like the Warriors are going to be the best team in the league next year, and I feel the same way about us." Akademiks, how do you feel about this update from Reason? In every interview he's done, he's been very transparent about this. It's not like, it doesn't sound like he's trying to hide much or deny that things have been a bit slow this year.
Thank you, Reason. Remember when I said that and y'all almost had a fit? It sounded like y'all was about to catch a seizure or stroke. Where there's smoke is goddamn fire. There's something going on. Maybe we don't know the extent of it, but clearly after Dave Free left TDE, it seems like they're figuring shit out, going through some restructuring. Also, maybe the artists themselves are figuring out what's the best route to go ahead with. And I just don't think it's the natural, hey, we're just not dropping music as frequently as we never do. I think something's going on. I think Reason alluded to that. He didn't give too much information. But when he says he's the glue that's holding it together, what else could it be? I do think that Dave Free leaving TDE is a big blow. I'm wondering what the fuck is up with this other thing that people are saying that Kendrick's involved with, which seems to be outside TDE. Was it PF Chang, PJ Lang, whatever the hell it is? We're just trying to figure out what it is. Again, I'm throwing this to Wayno because when I suggested there might be something, Wayno seemed like he was about to catch a fit. I wonder what he thinks today.
What I think today. Now, if he's using the analogy as to the Warriors, only thing that's really plagued the Warriors is that they were hurt. It wasn't nothing that was too crazy in turmoil. When he's saying the Warriors, I'm not thinking about Kendrick Lamar being a Kevin Durant. I'm thinking about Kendrick Lamar being Steph Curry, and Steph Curry was hurt for a year. Like he alluded to, it's something going on that he's dealing with his family. They've restructured how they're releasing music. Him being the glue guy, he's the Draymond Green. So yeah, he's out in the forefront, putting out great music, talking a bit, you know what I mean? Letting people know what's going on in the camp. I'm not scared for TDE by no means. I think that they will turn everything around when they're ready. And the reason why we don't put them on the clock, because I've seen a lot of people say, well, why doesn't the put them on the clock rules apply to Kendrick Lamar, who has dropped the album in 3 years? It's because he's one of the greats. Let's make that clear. I'm not scared for TDE at all because I think through all of this time, Schoolboy Q ain't losing none of his abilities. Her Ab Soul on Reasons album, he ain't miss a step. You know, J Rock don't never miss a step whenever he puts up some bars. So I'm not scared for TDE. Like everybody knows that when the Warriors come back next year, that they'll still be one of the top teams, and I feel the same way about TDE. So there's your answer, academics.
Um, I still think you didn't address what I was saying. I'm
What I ain't
wondering.
addressed? What you?
Okay,
What,
so
what,
can
what
I
didn't
just
I
Nigga,
jump
there's
address?
turmoil.
What?
Why do?
What
Hold on.
turmoil? What?
Listen, I'm here to talk. I'm saying, in speculating what this turmoil is, you're saying there's gonna be zero fallout from this particular whatever turmoil it is. Again, I'm associating it with just public information. Dave Free has left. We have heard rumors about Kendrick's situation, whatever that could be. I'm thinking that, and when also I get presented with information that Dave Free may have been in charge of a lot of creative stuff that we saw with TD. I do think things are gonna look a little different. I do think.
But guess what, academics? Stop trying to pull shit from out the clouds because what's the rumors we hear about Kendrick Lamar's situation? Only that he may be starting something with Dave Free. Other than that, you haven't heard nothing about nobody saying, "Yo, he got a bad deal. He's mad at Top Dog." We ain't hearing none of that. So what rumors is there? There's only thing that we know about Kendrick Lamar is the nigga ain't put out no music, and he may be starting something with one of the people who started with him. What rumors is there?
Hold on. Well. Again, when I hear someone hasn't put out music and we're not hearing it's just not off inspiration, I'm wondering what's going on behind the scenes. Usually, a lot of times when artists aren't putting out music, is frequently there's a mixed bag of things going on. Fans usually think it's just timeliness. I usually think what the fuck is going on. I'm just saying.
Do you want to hear some bad news, academics? Like, do you want to hear that the team's falling apart, or like what would satisfy you? I guess.
No, it's not what was satisfying. I feel like again, when we see the Migos look a little certain way, we start speculating about QC. I think it's just
totally different.
I don't think it's totally different at all. And by the way, I read into stuff when we have reason, with all due respect, coming out to say that he's the glue. With all due respect, again, with all due respect, if Iman Shumpert or J.R. Smith came out, let's say J.R. Smith, he came out and said he's the glue to the Lakers because LeBron's going through some things, I'd be a little bit concerned. You wouldn't be concerned?
Yeah, you just got bad basketball analogies, man. Just listen, man.
The glue got to be the star. The glue got to be
Kendrick Lamar. They okay. Hey,
I'm not saying they're not okay. I'm just saying if fans have a right to speculate at this point. I mean, and to be honest, this is the first confirmation we've gotten that probably assures or basically co-signs anything that fans might think something's going on. So again, why should we speculate? They're not above speculation. Is TD just above wondering what the fuck is going on? Not saying nobody's getting jerked, but clearly some stuff is going on. Who knows what's going on? I'm just saying we'll figure it out in due time.
Okay, well, there's more. So Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem had a conversation with each other for the 40th anniversary issue of ID magazine. So this is the first time we're really hearing Kendrick directly address why we haven't gotten an album from him this year. And from the way Baby Keem spoke, it seems like they were both planning to have projects out this year, but things got derailed because he said that. This is a quote from Kendrick, though. He said, "I spend the whole year just thinking about how I'm going to execute a new sound. I can't do the same thing over and over. I need something to get me excited. That's what will take me so long to do albums." And he also added, I don't know if people have been requesting sort of a sequel to Good Kid Mad City, but he also confirmed that's never gonna happen. He said, "I remember the sophomore jinx of Good Kid Mad City. It was for that year and that time." He said, "I was in a different space in my life and I already knew off the top I can't make part 2. He said, "The second I'm making that, it's corny. It takes the feeling away from the first." Okay, so there's Kendrick from his own mouth addressing this delay.
I'll continue to speculate, and I'll say I feel like what I'm gonna take away from this quote is that Kendrick has an album that's in a completely different direction than what people would assume he's doing. Which, of course, this is a year of a lot of social issues, and artists kind of putting forth those messages once again, like it has been before in their music, and maybe his music isn't that, which would be obviously a new frontier for his music to take on. However, because of the times, maybe that's one of the reasons he hasn't put it out yet. Because again, while people especially now want that particular content, he may have tried to do something different creatively. So, he's chilling out for right now. I would take that.
Well, I mean, that's the obvious thing. Every album that Kendrick has done has been sonically and presented totally different than the last one. No one of them are alike. Even back to Section 80. Out of the 4 projects that we really consider him for, which is Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn, not one of them sound or look alike. So that's not nothing.
Hold on. Well, it's not about sounding alike. It's about certain particular.
It is. He said about his sound. He said that he wants to find another sound to make him go somewhere else. It is.
Well,
that's one of the things.
Yeah. Well, there's a particular theme and message that's in pretty much all of them, and it's pretty much about black plight and black struggle. And again, his creativity might
and
lead.
Every one of the albums is about black plight and black struggle. Every album, Good Kid, Mad City is about black plight and black struggle.
Yes, it's not. It's about him being in a. It's about him having a POV aspect of him actually being in it and getting out of it. The To Pimp a Butterfly is pretty much him looking at society from a more macro level and breaking it down. I mean, all of these joints is like, come on, stop acting.
And what's Damn? I want to know what you think about Damn. What's Damn?
I think Damn was a perfect mix between the two, where he still had certain messages that pertain to the struggle, but also he didn't lose mainstream with that, which obviously To Pimp a Butterfly was. To Pimp a Butterfly, it just got drowned out of what mainstream would consider trendy or poppy at the time. So, he found that balance on Damn. I don't know. Who knows? He might be some experimental shit we've seen Kanye do before. I know this is sacrilegious to mention.
Well, I wish we had. I ain't gonna front. I wish we had more time to talk about that, but we got other stuff to talk about today. So.
About Kendrick's sound, like what it could be, or the past albums, you mean?
About the past albums and his sound. I wish we had more time to talk about that today, but we got other stuff.
Okay, don't worry. There's more episodes and we could always talk about Kendrick. No one would ever say no to that. Okay, so we can talk about an album that we do have then. Benny the Butcher just released Burden of Proof. So 12 tracks on this. A lot of great features from people like Freddie Gibbs, Rick Ross, Big Sean, and Wayne. Another entirely produced by Hit Boy project. And this is Benny's second release of 2020. He dropped the drama mixtape The Respected Sopranos earlier in this year. Wayno, do you think this is a strong release from Benny the Butcher?
I do feel like it's a strong release from Benny the Butcher. I think that what's really good about Benny is that like he has this nostalgic feel to his music that reminds people about like old rap. I like that he got with somebody like a Hit Boy that could kind of bridge the two, because Hit Boy is like, of course, he's in between. He's still very young, but he's a kid that grew up in that era. And he's also, produced for damn near everybody in the game. I felt like, I feel like with Hit Boy, how he's been executive producing albums is like the root of where hip hop really is. You know what I'm saying? Like really sitting in with an artist, crafting everything down to the features, down to the artwork, everything. I like this album a lot. I think that it sets Benny aside a bit from a lot of the conversation and who he's compared to as far as who he's coming up against in the game. And it kind of puts him outside of what Griselda usually does. Like, you know what I mean? Because he has a Hit Boy, he's not working with the Derringers and, Alchemists, a lot of people that help craft the Griselda sound. I'm proud of him for this. I could say like my real synopsis is that I'm very proud to see that he accomplished this type of goal. Because a year ago, I wouldn't have thought that Hit Boy and Benny would have an entire project together. So I'm very proud of him. I think this is a very solid piece of work.
Act, do you agree?
I'm gonna say Hit Boy is shaping up to be very instrumental and might be the MVP of, at least on a producer level. Of course, salute to Metro for his contribution this year too. But from whether his contribution to Nas's project or this particular project, I think he's helped shape at least a particular area of hip hop, and he's left an imprint on it. As far as the project, and let me give my disclaimer, I'm not someone who listens to Benny the Butcher all the time, so I don't expect me to compare this to his other works or his peers within the Griselda conglomerate. But I enjoyed it. Listened to it first. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit nostalgic. It felt like low-key felt like an old like. And by the way, Wayno, don't kill me. I feel like an old Rockefeller album at first. You know what I mean? It was kind of like the production was good. I think he did a really good job with it. And again, like at least for when I check out, either Benny the Butcher or Conway, this project did me well in terms of, so I enjoyed it. So I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay. So on that note, then, Aki, you want to take us through some numbers quickly, please?
Do I have a choice? Not playing. Yeah. So, in the interesting turn of events, there was really no main big album that dropped this week, but salute to Pop Smoke, who his album returned to number one, selling 67,000 copies, and it's was it Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. Also, he beat out 21 Savage, who Savage Mode also debuted number two, but he also debuts in the 60 plus thousand range. Juice WRLD also was in the top 5. He was number 3. Lil Baby My Turn was number 4. And MGK, who dropped a rock album, who we all know is a rapper, but still, like, you know, he's doing really well with that rock album. He was actually number 5. Young Boy rounded out number the top 10. But interestingly enough, and I always throw this in the air, on the number 1 for the Hot 100, we had a new entry. It wasn't WAP, wasn't Drake, Laugh Now, Cry Later. It was a song that a lot of people have seen bubble all year long, but it finally got to number 1 this week, and it was a 24K Golden and Ian Dior's Mood, which I think that's the, what do you call it again? The industry plant, like, fusion dance they did. But still, you know, congrats to those both of those men. Doesn't matter how they did it. Number 1 is a number 1. Cardi and Megan were number 2. Drake and Dirk, they were number 3. The Weeknd Blind Lights were number 4. The Baby and Roddy, they were number 7. And obviously, I'm talking about the corresponding songs of the people I'm mentioning. And Internet Money and Gunna Lemonade was number 10. So, pretty good week, but nothing really dropped that made any noise.
Okay.
Have y'all listened to that MGK album?
I haven't heard it yet.
I've heard kind of it in passing. I haven't heard the whole thing. How is it?
Yo, it's good. It's good. It's good. I ain't gonna lie.
It's a good album, or is it a good rock album?
It's a good album. You know, it's a good album. I mean, for me, rock. I always took rock in doses of like a song here, a song there from different people that I like. Mm-hmm. To listen to a whole album, I like it because he talks about a lot of different shit on there. You know what I mean? If you're really listening to what he's saying, like, I listen to it on the plane, so it's like.
So is he like rapping over rock production, or is he singing?
No, it's like singing, like he's singing in rock.
Okay.
Like he's singing in rock, but it's like it's real shit. Like he got a song on there where he's talking about like, because he lost his dad this year. You know what I'm saying? So he got a song like that on there that's really dope. Like I think that MGK, you know, he should get a little bit more credit for being versatile. He's a really, really versatile artist, you know.
Rapper, rock star,
he can still rap.
Yeah.
One thing I give him credit for is that, like, the energy that he's exuding at the moment usually matches his music. And whether it's like rapping, you know, something that's super lyrical or something that's super heartfelt, or it might be something about like his past drug use, or in this case, just some rock vibes where he's just turning up, he's having a good time, he's really in a good space in life. From, you know what I mean, if I look at social media, trust me. I'm glad that, you know what I mean, his art is representing his real life. I love it.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. I'm a fan of MGK. A couple quick things before we go. One, Bobby Shmurda doesn't seem like he's coming home this year like we originally thought he might be. So TMZ is reporting that board members denied his release from jail last month because he allegedly had multiple violations, including allegedly having a shank, fighting, drug possession. So new reports are saying that he'll have to serve his entire 7-year sentence and probably will not be released until December 2021. Well, it's not like he's missing too much in the world right now anyway, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, don't want to be in jail though, but you know what I mean, that's messed up. I mean, at least when he does come home though, he'd be maxed out. He doesn't owe the government any more time, so you know that's good. He won't be put on no parole where he has all these strict crazy restrictions and everything. So I mean, that's the only upside to looking at it if I was in his position.
Hey, very tough break for Bobby Shmurda. You know, somebody who I think most of hip hop is rooting for. I think when you look at the reasons why the parole board is claiming that they denied his like parole, and they're basically saying he was a bad inmate. If you can read it in a lot of different ways. The way I read it, hey, he was put in a situation where he tried to hold it down for his guys. Clearly, it took a bunch of years. Obviously, prison is not a great place to be. You know what I mean? He did what he had to do to survive, and clearly, because of maybe some of those things, you know, he might not be coming home early as people would expect. So, you know, hopefully he holds his head. You know, I know a lot of people are expecting to have him home soon. So, soon enough, he'll be here.
Yeah, we definitely have a fan question asking if we think he'll have a song as big as obviously his biggest record when he's released, but I feel like that's a little bit hard to speculate on,
Yeah.
especially since it's going to be at least a year since he's home. So we'll get back to that at some point. Last thing, so fans went a little bit crazy last Friday when Playboi Carti posted some photos of himself on IG. He's not usually very present. They started speculating that Whole Lotta Red could be dropping soon. Do we feel like this album is ever coming, or should we just give up? Ak, I think you're the biggest Carti fan here. Anything you can share?
I wish I could share something. I can't share anything. I think, Cardi's one of the luckiest artists in history where, by the way, he's one of the godfathers of the SoundCloud era. He was one of the first, but he's always not put out music consistently like most artists. And honestly, he doesn't really communicate with his fans or really anyone else. So when I see like fans have been waiting for this album for a couple of years, he's lucky that fans are still anticipating. I know he just had a newborn. Salute to him and Iggy Azalea. They have a newborn child. But still, come on, Carti. You're posting these little pictures. Like, these pictures look weird. Like, I'm just saying it from my perspective. Bro, what's up with the music? Again, I just feel, because I'm someone who I feel like an audience has helped me gain, some, success in my life. I think Carti should communicate with his fan base a little bit more. I'm just sorry. Like, again, I understand you're an artist and artists take these little breaks in. I know Frank Ocean doesn't really have to pen a letter to like his audience, but come on, Carti. We like, what's up? You dropped the song and dipped. What's going on, brother? What's going on?
2 songs, really, because him and he on Drake shit too, right?
Yeah, he was on Pain 1993, and then he dropped the song that was called Med. But come on, man, I think he's doing a disservice to his fans by not even communicating, which I just can't understand the thinking behind it.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Well, maybe he'll pull a Newsy and drop 2 albums or 2.5 albums, and that'll make up for all of the lost time. Let's see. That's our show for today. Send us some more fan questions. Otherwise, we'll see you here tomorrow on Complex.